Welcome back to Biomes. This time we are talking about the Gobi Desert. The Gobi Desert is quite a large area that is located within Mongolia and China. It's rather dry with the average precipitation ranging between 2 centimeters and 8 centimeters depending on where you are in the desert, and it does, depending on the type of year, have a wildly fluctuating temperature. The summer temperatures average between 25 degrees and 38 degrees Celsius, and in the winter it gets between negative 15 and negative 30 degrees Celsius, which is a very broad range. Due to the lack of rainfall, there's quite sparse vegetation, and most of the plants that are found there are very drought and heat-resistant shrubs and grasses like this saltwort. There's multiple varieties of saltwort as well as other grasses like brindlegrass. Can also find things like needlegrass and this sagebrush. There's a few types of shrubs that are a little bit larger than grasses, including this bean caper, and there's also a good variety of wild onions growing there, but again, most of the vegetation has to be very drought resistant due to the lack of precipitation. It's also a hot spot for fossils. There's been a ton of different dinosaurs discovered to having lived there, as well as it being the first site ever discovered that has dinosaur eggs. This is where the very first dinosaur egg fossils were ever found. There are so many fossils there, like it is a hot spot for prehistoric animal fossils and samples and all that. There's also a variety of animals living there, including multiple species of jerboa, including this one, the Gobi jerboa. There's also many other rodents, including this guy, the Przewalski's gerbil, as well as some wild hamster species, and other little guys, including the long-eared hedgehog, and this, the marbled polecat, which, again, I think it looks fake. Honestly, this does not look like a real animal to me. It is, but it just looks fake. And in the more vegetated areas, you can find some larger mammals, including the now no longer on the endangered list, the saga antelope, as well as other types of gazelles, including the black-tailed gazelles. There's a decently robust population of wild Bactrian camels there as well, and even some larger predators, including the endangered subspecies of brown bear, the Gobi bear, as well as the Mongolian wolf, a subspecies of gray wolf, and even snow leopards can be found on the edges, which is not where you expect them to be. You don't expect a snow leopard to be found in a very large desert. They mostly stay towards the edges, close to the mountains and all that, but they still do venture into the desert occasionally. There's also a good variety of birds, including a personal favorite of mine, the bearded eagle, as well as golden eagles. There's also ground birds like the chukar partridge, and songbirds like the Mongolian finch. A good variety of reptiles live there as well, including a few endemic species of pit vipers like this one, the Central Asian pit viper, as well as a few lizards, including the Gobi race runner lizard, which is this guy up here. And of course we have the freaky desert invertebrates, including this guy, the sulfugid, also more commonly known as either the camel spider or the wind scorpion. Like pretty much all deserts, the Gobi Desert is a pretty inhospitable place to live, but there are quite a few animals that do make their home there, and it is a very, very diverse area. This is by far not all of the stuff that lives in there. This is just a kind of broad overview.